Hello, I'm Daniel and welcome to the Emunah Project. We here at the Emunah Project are continuing in our series of videos with respect to inspiration, education, guidance, advice, and I want to talk a little bit about the Torah telling us to remember not only L'tzias Mitzrayim, not only the Exodus from Egypt, this wonderful, miraculous thing that the Creator took us out with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm, but he also says, you shall remember that you were a slave in Egypt. And you would think that the joy and the freedom and the happiness of being released from captivity, that would be the focus. But the Torah balances that, and it says, no, remember that you were slaves to Pharaoh in the land of Egypt. And so it seems like a little perplexing. So Harav Shimon Schwab offers a rationale. In the Talmud, in Masechta Megillah, page 4a, Chazal, our sages, say that we have to hear the Megillah reading at night and again during the day. Purim just happened a week or so ago. We have to hear it at night and again during the day. Rashi explains that, well, this is because the Jews cried out at night, during the night, and during the day. And again, it's perplexing. Shouldn't we be concentrating on the fact that we were released from almost certain doom at the hands of Haman and the Persians? Why this concentration on the tzuras, on the affliction, the hard times? Similarly with Passover, with Pesach, we should celebrate, as we are commanded, our remembering the Exodus from Egypt. So why the focus on the slavery, the hard times, the affliction, the sorrow, the punishment, the grief of being slaves to Pharaoh? Harav Shimon Schwab says they're not two separate things. Remembering the suffering and the affliction is also part of remembering the miraculous delivery and salvation by the Creator from our people, from death and destruction. It plays an integral part in the efficacy of the mitzvah. It's not there just because. It's not there simply by chance. It's there through divine providence. Remembering the suffering, remembering the affliction is an important part of the miracle. And again, Pesach, at Passover. How do we start? Lift up a piece of matzah. This is the bread of affliction. The bread of slavery, the poor man's bread. It doesn't say this is the bread of freedom. We don't start off. And the maror, the bitter herbs, to remind us of the bitterness and the harshness of our slavery to Pharaoh in Egypt. The bitterness and the pain, that memory is an important part, and it's an integral part of the miracle. It's part of the miracle. They're not two separate things, and that's why we must recall it. Similarly, the Talmud in Masechta Avodah Zarah, 9a, says the world will exist for 6,000 years. The first 2,000 years are void. The next 2,000 years is a time of Torah, and the next 2,000 years, the final 2,000 years, are the days of the coming of Moshiach. And so according to Chazal, according to our sages, the suffering that the Jews have been going through and continue to go through for the last 2,000 years since the destruction of the temple, that is kind of like the birth pangs of the coming of the Messiah, the coming of Mashiach. And it heralds the advent of the Mashiach. When that day comes, when those glorious events happen, and with the coming of Mashiach. And we are herald. We get a herald of the new era: universal peace, universal knowledge of God, all the Jews returning to Israel, the temple rebuilt. At that point, we will look back over 2,000 years and see that the sufferings and the pains and all the destruction, that was part of the delivery of the final miracle. It's part of it. It's not either or. It's not separate. The suffering leading up to the delivery, that is part of the process, and we should view it as such. We're going to be doing more videos along these lines. Please come back. Please watch. Please learn. I hope you're finding them of some value. And until next time, on behalf of the Emunah Project, I'm Daniel, and thank you too much.